Hello there, my name is Renee, and I'll be talking to you today about the military ban on transgender individuals, making some arguments that are for having a military ban for transgender individuals. So, in the past 4 years, the military has switched gears on their policies regarding enlistment and retention of transgender individuals a few times. So, prior to 2016, anyone who identified as transgender was automatically disqualified from serving in the military. In 2016, the Obama administration hired an outside team of researchers to determine if a new policy permitting transgender individuals to serve would be appropriate. So, a new policy was created and designed to be implemented in the summer of 2017 to be inclusive to transgender individuals. After the election of President Trump, it was again decided that research must be completed with experts within the military or who have become involved in the military in order to determine if the Obama administration's policy has merit. So, as it stands today, any transgender individual who is diagnosed with gender dysphoria or has gone through medical transition or is requiring medical transition is automatically disqualified. So, according to the RAND study conducted during the Obama administration, it was acknowledged that having transgender individuals who require gender-affirming treatment would increase the healthcare costs between $2.4 million and $8.4 million. The conclusion of that research is that the cost would be negligible when compared with the total amount the military spends on healthcare due to the low number of transgender military service members. Indeed, there's several points argued in favor of allowing enlistment of transgender individuals. Gender dysphoria has begun to be considered not a diagnosis, but a difficulty of living due to social stigma. Many arguments make comparisons to previous bans in the military, such as bans on women, lesbian, gay, and bisexual individuals, and African Americans. Many also see transgender individuals as having the same trajectory as the aforementioned minorities within the military. On the other hand, there are real consequences to allowing transgender individuals to serve in the military. As we acknowledged previously, there would be an increase in healthcare costs for the military. Despite the opinion that the cost would be negligible due to the low rate of transgender persons in the military, it's unclear and probably likely that this cost would go up as more transgender individuals enlist. Not only do we need to consider the increased health costs due to gender-affirming surgery and treatment, but we must consider the potential for things to go wrong during that treatment, which may increase the cost even more. For example, let's consider a hypothetical transgender individual who has successfully enlisted in the military. They have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and their treatment consists of male-to-female gender-affirming surgery, including genital reassignment surgery and breast augmentation. The rate of complications for genital reassignment surgery is very high, so the likelihood that this individual will have complications and require more care after surgery is also high. Of those receiving a genital surgery to transition from male to female, about 6 to 20% will experience complications leading to long-term disability. This renders the service member unfit for duty for an extended period of time of at least 3 months, possibly more. In addition to these medical concerns, a study from Sweden found that there was increased mortality and psychiatric hospitalizations among transgender individuals who had gone through gender-affirming surgery when compared to a control group. Mortality was primarily contributed to completed suicides. So even with gender-affirming treatment, the risk of suicide and mental health concerns is still very high within the transgender population. Now, there is treatment for gender dysphoria, which includes gender-affirming surgery. However, this again places the military in a place of obligation to pay for these medical costs in order for military service members to be fit for duty. Similar to how an asthmatic is automatically disqualified from service due to their medical condition and the consequential treatment, trans individuals should not be able to qualify due to their mental health status and the requirement of extensive, intrusive treatment that will affect their combat readiness. In addition, the cost of time and loss of productivity as a result of surgery and treatment needs to be taken into consideration. This moves into another big reason that transgender individuals should not be allowed to enlist: the effect it would have on military readiness and lethality. According to the expert panel organized by James Mattis, who was the Defense Secretary in 2017, allowing transgender individuals to enlist in the military will negatively affect not only the military, but the transgender individuals themselves. This is because it would be placing undue stress and rigor that is inherent in the military onto the transgender individual, which would then increase their vulnerability for suicide and severe mental health issues. Transgender individuals already have a higher rate of suicide in the general population. 57% of transgender individuals without a supportive family will attempt suicide at some point, compared to the general population, which is at about 4.6%. Transgender individuals are also at a higher risk of mental health disorders, which are also disqualifying for military service. Another important consideration to keep in mind is the social issue that arises with having transgender individuals in the military. There are basic biological differences between the sexes, and there are considerations that have to be made to ensure privacy, order, unit cohesion, and military effectiveness. There is a statute that requires sleeping and bathroom accommodations for men and women to be separate in the military. So to allow transgender individuals to serve as their identified gender undermines these safety and privacy concerns and can lead to decreased unit cohesion, which ultimately affects combat readiness. There's also support for a transgender military ban within the military and with those who have served. So a Pew Research Center survey found that 52% of military veterans support a ban, and this shows that veterans who were in the military and understand the rigors of military and how stressful and how much that can increase issues, knows that it's a good idea to not place people who are already vulnerable within the military. And they also understand why these policies are put in place and why policies such as this need to be put in place. So, in conclusion, there's many reasons that a ban on transgender individuals in the military should remain. The effect on military financially, the loss of combat-ready service members, and the increased risk of surgical complications, suicide, and mental health issues are among the biggest concerns. The social norms of the military will also be disrupted, which may contribute to decreased unit cohesion and affect other service members' ability to perform at their best and be ready for the missions that lay before them. Unfortunately, most people do not qualify for joining the military, and this should include transgender individuals. Thank you.